See, the one element that stuck with me about 2-8 Brooklyn, and the reason why
someone lives there.
The reason why Tricia's laughing now is because, hey guys, I'm Jeffrey St. Arromand.
And I'm Tricia Lee, and today we're here with the state media to share our stories behind the listing.
So for me, the wow moment of 255 Stuyvesant was the second I walked into that kitchen and I saw the size of that enormous island. Oh my goodness, I knew that's perfect. That's where everybody can congregate, like families hang out. It'll be a great space. So I knew that would be the moment where people would just be captured by that.
So I'm a details girl, and I love Stuyvesant for this reason. The minute you walk inside, it's just like brimming with details everywhere. The large mirror, the framing around the entry foyer to the living room, all of the window cases, everything is just so beautiful. They were able to keep so many of the original period details. You get lost in it when you walk into that home. I don't even get to the kitchen, and I'm impressed.
The most underrated spot for me, there's another bedroom on the very top floor that is so high, it's almost like you're living in a tree house because you're looking out right into the trees. Mm-hmm. That is the one that people kind of overlook, and then they see it and then they fall in love.
I think what's really underrated, and it's hard to capture in a lot of the materials that we put out to promote a home though, but for Stuyvesant, it's really the block and how like quiet and calm and just beautiful the block is. It's just this like perfect strip of brownstones. And then 255 Stuyvesant is the only limestone out there. Mm-hmm. So it's something that you don't get to capture a lot in a lot of our photos and videos, but like standing on the front stoop or just standing on the curb and looking at the home, it is just immaculate. It's such a beautiful block, such a beautiful community, and such a beautiful street.
Quick note on that. A lot of people don't know that's the same block that Do the Right Thing was shot. It wasn't not that particular cross street, but the Stuyvesant block.
The strip, yeah.
That strip is where Do the Right Thing was shot. So for me, the first thing I noticed when I walked into 965 St. John was just how deep it is.
Yeah, it's 20 by 70, whereas most brownstones are 20 by 40. So it's like double the depth of your average brownstone. So the one thing that I feel was so hard to capture for this particular property, but it was so special, was that the property had windows on all three sides. And so you get so much light in the space, which I do think you picked that up in the photos and the videos. But the additional third wall of lights on the side of the home just made for such a beautiful space. And then the depth of the home being 70 feet sounds whatever when you're saying it, but when you're in that home and you see that depth and you see that house continue to go and go and go, it's so impressive. The fact that it happens on every single floor of the home is just insane. You just never see that. To have an extension on these homes in Brooklyn is one thing. This house is extended 70 deep on every single floor. It's just so much house for the owner.
And what that means for people that outside of New York, they don't really have that type of depth of homes. Essentially, you're having two primary bedrooms on the second floor with an ensuite bath. So you have your primary, your major primary, your primary that has like the big bedroom, the great views. And the views were north, south, and west. So typically you don't get 3 directional views in a brownstone because you're like abutted.
Connected.
Yeah. And New York is typically vertical living, but in this scenario, you're able to get multiple directions of light. So that's great. And then you have your junior primary that again has an ensuite bath. And all that is because of it being 70 deep. Working with Ryan, he makes you, well, first of all, we're perfectionists to begin with. But when it comes to being on camera, you're like at your AAA game. Especially when it comes to doing video and content. Because, Ryan's going to come in, he'll get it done in one take and he's out. And in general, Ryan is, very reachable. It's just like anyone else you talk to, you have an issue, you can talk to him about it. He's, very approachable, very down to earth. It's not like Ryan, the reality TV star. It's Ryan, the guy that you can call and say, hey, we need you to be a part of this listing to really, propel it and get more eyeballs to it. He's ready to do that. See, the one element that stuck with me about 2-8 Brooklyn, and the reason why
someone lives there.
The reason why Tricia's laughing now is because not only is like it has beautiful detail and a beautiful home. The second you walk in, it looks like a museum. But a serial killer was the architect of the property, and I met this serial killer
many times,
and he's now in jail for what 7, 8, 9,
11?
11 murders that he apparently committed. I made an appearance on Dateline about this whole story. And TMZ. Yeah.
We can't get unstuck from this house.
Yeah. And I didn't know when I met this guy that he was a serial killer. But the serial killer is a renowned architect. I mean, a serious architect in New York City.
That so many agents have worked with.
Yeah.
But we were actively working with him when all of this craziness came down. But luckily, the house is gorgeous. We had sold the house. The house is beautiful. Talk about period details, insane.
I would need to mention that, like, the two sales here have gone to
actors with major movies.
Yeah, major movies.
Major movie actors.
That you would know.
Which speaks to the allure and sexiness of Brooklyn as a whole. I think that these homes naturally just bring a creative, because you have the original bones and all the original period details as a canvas to really create like a mansion style home. And I think that that's what they see.
This is unique to New York. This one I want to say is 1906. St. John is 1899. You don't find these period homes that have all the details still intact. As a A-level celebrity or as multi-millionaire, billionaires, whatever, you want something that's really unique that no one else is going to have.
I would say that 60 Arromand is an extremely rare find. It's the first landmark block. They're near water. You can't really catch that on the video. But again, historic homes. I believe this home was an 1889 home. I may be wrong about that. Full of fireplaces, tons of original details. We did a really unique video with this home where you kind of see like 5 or 6 different Tricias, because I kept telling Jeff the one thing I couldn't get over in this house was every room had a different mood. Like you could have 10 different things going on in this home and no one interrupt each other, because there was space to entertain, read, work, sleep, cook. It was wonderful. It had like a butler's kitchen in the back. It had a beautiful sunroom. It had a library. It had everything.
One thing that I think is really unique about this property that we didn't know about going into it was that it's abutted to a fake home. And what does that mean? So it's literally a facade that's actually used by the MTA, the New York Transit Authority. So it's allows for the ventilation of the trains.
Yeah.
So literally next door, when you see the facade, it looks like there's a building next door, nothing there. It's just the train facade. This owner then gets the entire expanse of that backyard, of the other unit's backyard. So now you have a double wide backyard, and then you have neighbors that are never there, which is great too.
Working at Serhant is unique because we do have a built-in media division in our company. So it's like, yes, studios is great. We're actually in the studios division now. We're downstairs. This is the podcast center that we're in. But we have people that do video. We have people that do photography. We have people that help us to do podcasts, whatever we want to do. We pretty much have the resources in-house to help with our promotion of our properties and our personal brands as well. So that is something I think that's just uniquely different and a different touch for this brand versus a lot of the other brands that are out there.
So the one thing I remember about this listing, the second I saw it, I was like, this is going to be a bit of a challenge. First of all, there are multiple parcels. The biggest challenge is that it was part of Brooklyn Law School's portfolio, and they wanted to start to liquidate the portfolio. So it's always challenging to find the right buyer for that. But then when you're starting to negotiate, you're negotiating with the buyer's attorney, and then on your side, you have a bevy of attorneys on the other side. So it was like 5 attorneys that we're having conference calls with, and then the other attorney on the other side. And not to mention the 5 attorneys has an attorney that's representing them.
Yeah.
So
everybody is an attorney on this deal, and there's a ton of people that are involved in this deal.
This property looks completely different from when we sold it, but I'm really excited about it, really proud about it. That was one of our biggest sales, and it was just adjacent to 60 Arromand. So it was great to continue to sell something else that's actually in the same neighborhood of Brooklyn Heights.
There's no space in Brooklyn Heights. That's just the honesty. And so for someone to capture a property like this with 23 units, I think that was a huge get. I think they got a great value. And I know that all of those units can be revamped and resold for double, or not triple, what they paid for them.
We don't always work on the same project simultaneously, because it makes more sense if both of us are brilliant and smart as we are, then we should be able to spread our wings, and Trish can handle one thing and I can handle something else.
I would say that working together is really challenging because most times there's no separation of life and work. Like work follows you home, and then you have 2 workaholics, so that gets to be very unhealthy. But the benefit of working together is I feel like we get this luxury of always being in a situation where if I can't do something, Jeff can do it just as well. or if Jeff can't do something, I can do it just as well. So it's as close as you get to getting two of you, which is every entrepreneur's dream. I wish I had two with me. It's as close as you can get to that because there's just nothing that I can't delegate to him or have him jump in for me.
I'm Jeffrey St. Arromand.
And I'm Tricia Lee. We want to thank Estate Media for allowing us to tell our stories of behind the listings.